Hello everybody. Many of us believe that difficult conversation about illness, incapacity, and end-of-life decision can wait for another day. But our guest today journeys as a full-time caregiver for her aunt while raising young children and has shown her otherwise. Today we have with us Patricia, and we will be finding out from her life story of love, resilience, but also why planning ahead through tools like lasting power of attorney, LPA, and advanced care planning, ACP, can be one of the greatest gifts we give to our family. Thank you, Patricia, for joining us for our podcast today. We'd just like to find out a little bit about yourself and also your journey with your aunt. What made you take this step as a personal caregiver?
So I'm Patricia, I'm a mom of two. I'm also in the real estate business. Myself and my aunt, I think we've always been close right from the start. I would say that she literally raised me, apart from my own parents. So we are that close, and it kind of become natural that I'm the caregiver for her. And also because of my flexible work hours, that allows me to take time off and then be with her for all of her appointments.
I see. So in other words, she's like almost a second mom to you in a sense, right? So looking back, were there moments that taking up this role as a caregiver has impacted your own personal and family life?
It has. It definitely did. I think it's never easy being a caregiver. It feels like a full-time job sometimes. Being present for the person, keeping her company, bring her to medical appointments, and also in a way be there to help her feel a little bit more hopeful of the situation. I think that's a huge responsibility. And on top of that, I've got two young boys, so being able to schedule things around, that has definitely impacted a lot in terms of the way I run my day, in that sense.
Yeah, I'm sure as a mother and also running your real estate business is definitely something that's going to be challenging, right? Yeah. So were there some major responsibility that you have to suddenly take on through this journey? And also what were some of the tasks that you can actually get your boys or even your husband to chip in to take on?
I think talking about getting people to chip in and help, that would be more of the physical activities, right? Perhaps like her appointments, and also if she's home and she's alone and my children and my husband can be there with her, that's great, right? But probably the heavier responsibility would be the emotional side of things. I think to always stay positive in front of my aunt, and also in front of my children as well, because obviously they know the situation, and if I'm burdened by how her medical condition is, or especially after a medical appointment and doctor gives us news that are not the best, how do I carry forward that emotion with my children? It's very hard. So I a lot of times I gotta hide that side of that disappointment or hurt when I'm with my children, and I just try to stay very, very strong. So I think that's the part that's very heavy,
right?
Yeah, to keep staying strong.
That must be really tough on you, because I guess like what you have said is that regardless of what happened, good or bad days, you have to put on a strong self. So and more so to your aunt who's going through this journey, you have to provide that positive energy to her. So were there any like difficult decisions that you have to make on her behalf?
I think that was the part when she was in the hospital. Actually, that was just last year in December. I mean, it's hard because, for example, when a doctor tells you that, she needs to puncture a hole in her lungs area to draw out the liquid that's been building up, the obvious answer is let's do it, right? But is it something that she wants? I don't know. But at that point of time, she was already so weak. It boils down to me and probably my family having to make that decision. And obviously when I ask her, Xiao Gu, is it okay that we proceed with this procedure, right? And I think one of the hardest was when she asked me, and then what's next? I can't provide an answer, and I don't know if that's the best decision. So I think that's really hard, when it comes to having to make this kind of tough decision and not knowing whether if it's going to be the best decision for her as well. And also not knowing whether is she okay with it 100%. Yeah. She might do it because I'm trying to convince her to do it. I think that's the tricky part. Yeah, we don't know where to draw the line, whether yes or no, and whether is she fully okay with it. Yeah.
So at this point of time, she was still like kind of conscious.
Conscious, but breathing is very heavy because of the liquid that's building up in her lungs. Right. Yeah.
Because I walked through my own personal journey as well, taking care of my own late mom. And I actually went through this ACP planning with one of the social worker. Yeah, some of the questions that they asked, right, was really, really tough. And as much as my rational self tell me that, that could possibly be the way, but somehow or rather that emotion is something that we really cannot just let go. So I can fully comprehend every time when you are faced with such a decision, how difficult it is to even take the step to say this should be something that we need to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So were there times that through this journey you even sense that your aunt may not necessarily want certain decision that was put on the table to actually be a go ahead, and she was unsure about it?
I think one thing that she was very clear about was that she didn't want to go through intubation. Yeah. And to her, if she have to go through that, it's the end. Yeah. So I think that's the very, very hard part. So I think for her it's hard because she couldn't breathe well. Yeah. So there were a few times that I stayed behind and just be with her because I was very worried that she might choke in her sleep. And also understanding that she don't want to go through that, but yet we know that the situation is getting worse, then it's more of what's next, what can the doctors do, right? And she is a woman who knows what she wants and don't want. I'm very thankful for that. And that kind of did help my load become a bit lighter in that sense because she knows I don't want to go for this. I'll go for that. Like, for example, when doctor recommended to go for the operation for the skin area, because she has skin cancer then, it was a straight up no. She knew very clearly. So, actually, it's very good if somebody knows what they want, what they don't want. Yeah, it's the best. But of course, it's verbal, and only whoever hear from her will know lah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I think that's...
Did she discuss with you before the incident, or actually...
Yeah. I think as a family, we always talk about it. Even like now, I also tell my kids that if mama gotta go through intubation, forget it, just end it. Because I think we're all very aligned. We don't want to burden the family. Yeah, because the process is not easy. We would rather just, end it fast. But to be honest, it's easy to say. But when we are on the end of, we are the ones journeying through and watching the person, being so sick. It's very hard to say, oh no, she doesn't want, let's not do it, There's a part in your heart, you will feel like we should just listen to what the doctor say, even if she doesn't want it. I think that's the biggest struggle. Like, do we go with the person's wishes or do we go to with the doctor's advice, And sometimes we may do it because it makes us feel a little bit better, or we may feel that we're doing it, it might extend her life. But is there quality? We don't know. Yeah.
So through your experience, what have you learned about the importance of having conversation before a crisis happens?
Oh, I think it's very important. I didn't have that with my grandma, and there's just so much regrets. My grandma passed also very, very quickly in a coma and then passed on. We couldn't hear any of her wishes, and that's just the very painful part of it. But with my aunt, because we've had hard conversations before, I kind of know bits and pieces of what she wants, what she doesn't want, but do I have full clarity of it? I don't. And And I knew from the beginning that she assigned me as her LPA, I think, as one of the
donee.
Yeah, the donee. So I already knew that it's going to be me who's going to make a lot of hard decisions. But at that point of time, because she's still well, right? Then we're like, oh no, it's okay. I know you don't want this, you don't want it. Okay, we'll settle it. It's easy. But really, when a person is sick, it's really not easy. And I really think that having hard conversations with family will mean a lot. Because some people might think it as superstitious, but really it's not. I feel that it's about preparing for the future. And even for me and my kids, like I've already told my husband that, if I pass, all my organs, if I can, donate, I'll donate out. Because to me, is I believe in this term of ashes to ashes, right? I mean, So, and it's good that my husband and my kids know what I want, my wishes. Yeah. So I truly believe in that lah. And I get to experience a little bit of that with my auntie. So, but it wasn't full 100%. It was just bits and pieces lah. I mean, I did. Yeah, if I could turn back time, I would have even more deeper conversations with her for sure. Yeah.
Is this your first time being a donee for an individual?
Yes, it's my first time.
And what your perspective have changed? Has it changed any perspective of yours being a donee?
Oh, it's a lot of responsibility, I think, But it's also a privilege. Yeah. I always feel it's it's always two ends, to the coin, right? I mean, wow, it is a heavy responsibility, but it's also because your loved one trusts you so much, and feels that you might know what's best for them. And that's why they put you as the donee. So, I think if you asked me last time, would I bother about LPA? I wouldn't. Really, I wouldn't. Because to me, it's more of like like when I get old, then I'll get there, But now that I went through with my aunt, I really feel like anything can happen, Yeah, and I think it's good to just be prepared, not to like plan for the worst. I don't think it's planning for the worst. Actually, on the contrary, it's actually planning for the future in a way where at least people around you can understand what you want.
Apart from LPA that she have she done an ACP as well, Advanced Care Planning?
She didn't. Yeah, I mean, my understanding about ACP is it's more than just medical decisions lah. I think it's about respecting the person's wishes, the values, the dignity, and all of that. So that's where the even deeper conversations should have happened. And that's why I say that, I wish that I had even deeper conversations with her, before she was sick.
I see. Have you had conversation with your own family members about your healthcare preference and future plannings? Like, have you done your ACP to plan for this?
I haven't. I have just done my LPA.
That's very good.
And the next thing would be, probably, next thing I'm actually doing estate planning, maybe followed by ACP. I don't think it's going to be easy to plan because there's a lot of details to it, and I think it'll take a while to get there. And because now, depending on the age that I'm in, and also depending on my career status, right? I think as we go along, even year on year, things may change and things may be different. So I feel like it's going to be a progressive planning moving ahead. Yeah, but yes, I'm definitely keen to
So because your two boys are still very young, right? But they are aware of your decisions.
I don't think they're fully aware. It's like yesterday we literally watched a show with somebody in the hospital with tubes, and I said that if Mama is ever in this state, just let me go, Then they're like, huh? I'm like, yeah, but because, that's my wish. Yeah. So, but I did tell them before that, like, in future everything will be planned out. They don't have to worry, and I don't want them to be burdened with hard decisions to make lah. I think decisions during an emotional and difficult time, that's where it can be so painful to make, and I don't wish for my children to have to go through that. I would rather I pre-plan, just kind of let them know, if I get here, what you can do. If I get there, what are the options and what you can do.
That's very good. At least you don't stress your kids when they reach that situation.
Yeah, and also because my second boy, he has got special needs. Yeah, so to me, I think caring for that part of it is so important, and making sure also that, you know, he will not be a burden to the elder brother. Yeah, because I think I've seen many cases where end up the siblings are the one who take care of, you know, the other sibling who has needs. Thankfully, my boy, his special needs is quite mild. So obviously we're training for him to be independent and all that. But I have to plan all of this. Yeah. So I think with my aunt, she kind of kickstart a lot of, you know, the things that I should be planning ahead. And also, you know, as I hear more and learn more, I realize that it's so important, you know, to plan this for yourself and your family.
That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Because often, right, many people say, I'll deal with it when the time comes. And I guess you have shared with us rightfully that through this journey as a caregiver, right, there is really something that you see as an importance of planning in advance, and even to the extent to formalize some of these thoughts or views that we have. Because a lot of time, if we were to have a conversation over dinner or, you know, while watching television, it could kickstart as a conversation point. But at some point in time, I guess it's also good to kind of formalize it so that because when the day arrives, we may not necessarily be at the sober or mental capacity state to even share what we want. Yeah, but if we have a formalized plan, I guess that goes a long way for the person, our loved ones, who is trying to take care of us in a sense, right? So, through your journey as this caregiver, right, what would you say to someone waiting for the right time to have this important conversation?
Oh, to me, it's start now. Yeah, I think we want to live a life with as little regrets as possible. And many a times, the biggest regret would be with our family. You know, that we didn't get to say this, we didn't get to do that. So, to me, I think, yeah, it's good to start conversations now, especially if you are already at this stage where your parents are probably getting older. They may be healthy now. Actually, if they're healthy, it's the best time to even talk about things like that. You know, don't do it only when they are, you know, in a poorly condition.
Thank you so much, Patricia, for sharing this journey with us. I guess while you have mentioned that definitely it's not easy, but you have also considered it a privilege.
Yes.
And I think we can all kind of draw strength from your example. So we hope that whatever you share today will also be an impact to many others who are also kind of potentially sitting on the sideline to say, I could maybe do it later. Yeah. So thank you so much for your sharing.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Walking through the caregiving journey with Patricia helped us to realize the importance of having tough conversations and setting planning such as LPA and ACP in place. Many people may say that I will deal with it when the time comes. However, we will never know if and when it will come. As a result, we found ourselves being caught off guard. Is it not better for us to start a conversation with our loved ones while we are still able to do so now? What do you think? Leave us a note in the comments. Thank you for following the Better Question podcast. My name is Kimberlyn. I'll see you in the next podcast.